Hi, everybody. Welcome to Living Extraordinary Podcast / YouTube channel. This is Peggy Lindsey. Peggy, say hello.
Hello. Hello.
She does arcing light heal. It's a awesome like angelic healing modality, which she's going to talk to you guys all about. She does some life coaching, and we're going to dive into. She's currently living around Sedona, and we're going to dive into all that and stuff. So yeah. Okay, that's okay. So all right, Miss Peggy, how do you explain what arcing light is?
Well, arcing light is a very high vibrational energy. It's divine in nature, and it's very much of the feminine aspect of God, if you will. And arcing light, it's very new to the planet. So if we look at Reiki, and most people know what Reiki is, and I can speak from it as well since I started off as a Reiki master before moving into arcing light. Reiki has been on the earth thousands of years. It's that what we call that universal life energy, that life force that supports all of, nature and, we as human beings, the earth, that kind of thing. So why arcing light now? Well, the reason is because it has divine consciousness, and the vibrational rate at what arcing light vibrates at was so much higher than what humanity was vibrating at for the longest time. And since we are on this journey of raising our consciousness, that's when arcing light had its door open to it. And we were then able to really take in arcing light as a vibrational match, if that makes sense. So if it would have come in before 2002, which is when it came through, humanity would not have been able to handle the energy. It would have felt yucky. It would have felt, ooh, I don't like this, we would not have been able to assimilate the energy. So that's why it's so new, and so many people still don't understand what it is. So in a nutshell, that was kind of like a long version of what it is, but it is very much a divine feminine healing energy, very nurturing, very supportive, and there's a lot of things about it I could tell you. So if there's any questions.
Well, I got I guess I don't even know how you say that. I got certified. I got certified with you like 2 years ago. And at the time it was actually the first energy healing modality I dove into. And since then I dove into other ones, but it's still the one I like the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's and I remember you were like, yeah, I'm a Reiki master, but I don't really use that. And I actually went and did the Reiki master thing as well. And it's way too regimented for me.
Yes.
It's like drawing all the symbols and all that stuff, and like having to turn it on at a certain time, and like like Reiki on and drawing stuff on the roof of your mouth and this and that. I was just going like, no, there's a way more direct contact to having like energy, like, I mean, and like the arcing light's basically always on.
It is. Yeah. I mean, as you might remember, it's not like an attunement to the energy like you had with Reiki. Mm-hmm. Arcing light is an actual placing of the encodements within you. So you carry it with you all the time. And because like I had mentioned before, it has consciousness, it's like all we need to do really, Nikki, is just get out of the way and let the energy do what it needs to do, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times with Reiki or other modalities, people have to figure out, okay, well, what's the issue the person's having? You know, it's like, let's peel that onion and figure out what's going on. It takes a while to figure that out. Well, with Arcane Light, the great thing is it knows what's going on. It knows what needs to be done, and it goes right to the core issue. So there's not that, oh, let's try this or let's focus on that. It's offer the energy with intention of whatever is the highest and best good for that person, and just be the vessel. We don't have to think about, what's wrong medically or what's going on, in any other way. It's just,
You know what? I've done, I do it on myself like all the time, like multiple times a day. I like all
perfect.
But
Perfect.
I do a lot on my family and friends, but my main use, I think, is really like a Gaia thing. Like I act like an acupuncture point to the planet herself.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, this energy is good for anything that has, a pulse, let's say. And Gaia very much does. I mean, a lot of people struggle with the thought that, the planet's a living being. Those that are kind of asleep yet. But we know she is moving and shaking and doing her own journey, and very much appreciates any kind of healing that we can offer her. Love and healing and appreciation. Mm-hmm. That's how she, is able to withstand everything we dish out. We as human beings have dished out on her, and so she's appreciating what we offer, so she can clean up and continue on her journey.
So have you been experiencing a lot of these energy, like they feel like I don't know, I guess like cosmic energies coming in, or some kind of, like, I know I felt like a big surge on like the spring equinox or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think equinoxes and solstices seem to be pretty a heavy time.
Huge portals, yes.
Yeah, I guess there's another one coming next week. So
exactly, next Friday. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and it's not even contained just with those periods of time. I feel a lot of shifting through the moon cycles as well. Mm-hmm. And certainly, on a personal level, I feel those changes, whether it's a change in, sleep patterns, or, aches and pains in the body, or, shifting even, experientially.
Ears ringing a lot is the thing.
Ears ringing, yes. Headaches or soreness. I mean, it's like, what did I do? Bump my head? No. I mean, it's all these energies are affecting our physical bodies. We know that we are moving from a carbon-based body into a crystalline-based body. And we are moving from the lower dimensions, and we're making our way through to the higher dimensions. And this is just the way that, the universe, source, God, however you want to call, is helping us get there. We talk about ascension, the ascension process. Well, we're smack dab in it. Long ago, I thought it might have been, just a snap of the fingers, and, we've ascended, but
like
not
one event or something, and then now it's like you think it might be more like a gradual thing.
Yeah, very much a process. And I think it's taking a little longer than what most of us thought a long time ago, because we've decided we're all going to go together. It's not like I'll draw the line. It's like, okay, they're not good enough. We're just, they're not high in vibration enough. We're just going to leave them here and let's go. No, quite opposite. It's like our souls all got together and had this great big meeting and said, okay, we're all in this together. Let's keep marching. Let's keep bringing everybody with us. Let's do this ascension together. And
I definitely feel like, the concept of like timeline shifts and stuff, where
yes.
It's kind of one of those things where like what I thought was going to happen this time last year, like keeps on re-evolving, because I kind of feel like we're like our timeline is evolving as we go. I feel like we're
very, very fluid. What we're hearing is that we're in uncharted territories, really. Even the ascended masters, our guides and so forth, in the higher dimensions are like, we can't even really tell you what's going to happen because we've not done this before. And so whatever we as a human collective are doing is what's triggering those jumps in timelines. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So like hand in hand, so here we have our helpers on the other side, and then we are jumping in too, and together we each have our parts in getting ourselves to the next level. And that's when those timelines shift.
Okay, so let's talk about like the other side, or the spiritual world, or like, I know that you have, like, would you say you channel our angel Andrew, or do you like have connection with, like, I know you have some sort of connection. So like how do you experience the other side, and what is the other side to you? Like, does it mean another dimension, or does it mean, like, what's it mean to you?
Okay, well, let's see. So the other side to me is home for all of us. Okay, all we are, this human body is just the package, and it's not who we really are. And we are here on earth in a physical experience to just see what it's like, and to learn things, to experience duality, that type of thing. So, the earth life is not to me, it's not real. It's just like school. It's just
or like an extended dream.
Yeah, like a dream, like a play. We're all acting in a role, and so forth. I mean, it seems pretty real. Let's understand that. I mean, pain's pain and troubles are troubles and so on. But the other side, or heaven, or however, again, whatever word you want to use, is to me home. This is where we originated from. This is where we belong. This is our place of our soul's creation. It's the place where all is known. Our full consciousness is there. Our whole entire being is there. And I think what people tend to forget is that there's just a small portion of our consciousness that's here in this physical form, or in our mind or heart. Who we really are is there on that other side, or in heaven, or higher dimension.
So then you sort of feel like we're just one aspect of our higher self, like our other, like, there's a higher self of our, or whatever. There's other aspects of ourself that are simultaneously somewhere else at the same time.
Absolutely. That's how powerful our higher selves are. I mean, if our higher selves tried to, fully inhabit these physical bodies, we would just, explode. we just could not contain the awesomeness of the entire higher self energy. Okay, so yeah, we are just a little shard of our beautiful total self in the higher dimensions. And And then as far as it's like channeling, yes, I do channel. And it's not restricted to Archangel Andrew, who oversees the arcane light energy. I can channel mostly angels. That's exactly who my connection is with.
Okay, so like what's your take on like I actually like I have a connection. I had a thing where like I was, I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 23 or 24, and I was doing some student teacher thing, and we were like an alternative teaching certificate, and we had all finished our program, and there was like a bunch of ladies, and we had gone out to like this restaurant, and at the end it was probably like twilight. It was like 6 o'clock at night. I was leaving before everybody, and the parking lot was completely packed, but where I was parking, the parking spot in front of me had already pulled out. So I was like, oh, I'll just pull through, right? So I got in my car, and I started to pull through, and then my car I got to the edge of where the other parking spot was, and my car just like stopped working. It was completely stalled out. And I was like, what? And I like was double checking. Everything was in park. Gas was on. Like, what, you know? And all of a sudden this like giant, like black SUV goes boom, like as fast as it can right down the road. And like, had I have pulled out, I would have been hit. And then so my car, like, it's like it did a little glitch in time. It went boom, and it like put me on the road, and it sped up, and it like put me where I would have been, but had not gotten hit. And it's the weirdest thing, but I don't know how to explain it. I knew that there were like these two angels that were like doing it.
Yes. You experienced your guardian angels stepping in to protect you. And that's what they'll do before your time. You know, that's how they will act. If it's not your time to go home, they will do everything. They will work miracles such as that to ensure for your safety. And we all have those. I mean, we all have our guardian angels. Now,
yeah, it's weird because I didn't physically see them, but it was like I almost like could sense their placement.
Mm-hmm. Well, and of course, you know, I'm not a clairvoyant. I don't see them. I feel them, and I get infused messages. So I certainly wish, you know, one day I do ask for that. I want to see you.
Yeah.
Or let me hear you, you know, with my ears. But absolutely, it is one of those situations where Nikki, you know, all right, something happened here. And
yeah,
and we all have those senses, you know, we all have that sense of like, oh, I feel something, you know. We could walk into a room after you know, somebody had a great argument and just feel the heavy energy around there. I mean, it's like we know these things,
for sure.
right?
Yeah, I just for me, I've always wanted, like, okay, so like I'm not religious, and then also the thing is like but I did read the entire Christian Bible when I was young, and I remember thinking like even when I was young, I was going like, okay, these angels are like winged people who come from the sky, and they don't live here. Like, they're aliens. They're like from somewhere else. There's, you know, like as a definition, I mean, I could, like, yeah, they're not like Roswell aliens with small little, I mean, there's different stuff, but they're a different being than a human. So like, there's something else, like, and now I still don't even know how you define them, because they're almost like their own little subsection of stuff, you know, like, so I sometimes have a hard time even knowing where to define where you put angels in.
Yeah, angels, I mean, as far as the aliens, I think that's kind of cute though, because I do believe that there are some angels that do incarnate and have physical human experiences, but not all of them. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
angels were created by Source for many different purposes, and first of all, they don't have wings, by the way.
Mm.
They do not. They show themselves to a lot of people with wings on to help them differentiate between other guides and to help people know that they're angelic and not something else. They kind of pick up on what the artists have done over, the Renaissance. You
Right.
always
Okay. They take the
things,
symbolism.
right?
Yeah.
So that is just for our benefit, really. But in reality, they do not have wings. But what they were designed specifically to, or created, I wouldn't say designed, but created to assist us, like the archangels and guardian angels. Now, there's a whole gamut of angels, different levels of angels doing other things. In fact, there's 9 levels of angels, and only 3 of those levels interact with human beings. Of course, our guardian angels, they are with us forever, in our, the moment of our birth to the time we go back. Then the archangels are the, kind of the heavy hitters. They have they have specialties that they do and bring to humanity. And then the principalities, these angels oversee the earth and the cities and so forth. So they're like,
As a okay, what's a principality? Would that be like I know the only ones that are like named like in text is like what, Michael and Gabriel, basically?
oh, there's a lot more. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael,
Oh yeah,
Uriel.
Raphael and Uriel or
Yeah,
Midnight. And like
exactly.
Metatron's a
That's
big one that people talk about, but I think that's from a different text. Can't remember.
right. And there actually are 2 archangels, Metatron being one and Sandalphon being the other, who were actually human souls first.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
now here's the thing: people get really hung up, especially we as human beings. We like to name things, right? We associate things. Okay, well, that's in that category, and we like to name things. So I want everyone to understand that angels and archangels, the different ones, it's just like a job description. It's just what they
Okay.
do. It's not necessarily, oh,
A
I'm
being
an
itself.
angel. Well, that just be saying like, well, I'm a flight attendant. It's not who I am,
Right.
but it's what I do. So the same thing with the angelic realm. It's like their job description. No one is greater than the other. I mean, Creator created us all the same. There's no greater being than another. We're all perfect in that way. So just remember those things. It's like it's just a job description, and they just do it really, really well.
Yeah,
So
because there's certain people that believe that like their loved ones become angels when they die, and and I always sort of had the concept that maybe no, an angel is like its own thing, just like humans are its own thing, and I think like I don't know, I really have no idea.
well, and truly, could I tell you for sure? No, but I do believe if we understand about the job description thing,
Mm-hmm.
could a loved one step into an angel role, just like Archangel Metatron and Sandalphon? Possibly, right? A lot of our past loved ones move on and become guides. So I think it's one of those things that we have to look at, that don't say yes or no. I think it's like,
Yeah.
maybe, we don't know. It's a possibility. So
So how did you like, why Andrew, and how did you first start getting, like, how does channeling work for you? Like, I've tried to channel, but like, I don't really, I mean, I've read some books on it. How about that? And I don't know that I'm there yet. And I wonder if it's just like maybe certain people can be and certain people can't be. I don't know.
Well, as far as the angels, I mean, I had a really wonderful connection with angels ever since I was a little girl, like 9 years old. I remember having then that sense of feeling. I knew the presence was, those presences were starting to make themselves known to me. And it was only probably in around 2000 when I started doing my, my healing work and so forth. It was like it was kind of dormant, and then it's like, okay, here we are. And it's like when you open the door for them, they will come. The guides and the angels, and they try to get our attention all the time, Nikki. It's like, hello, anybody home? Do you hear me now? I mean, it's really, really important that we understand that communication is going all the time. We just have to set our, our tuner into, okay, I'm receiving now. It's just like radio.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the synchronicity stuff. Like I've stopped taking snapshots of every single time I look at my phone, and it's like 11111 or 222
Right.
or 333 or so on. Like, I mean, I see that stuff so much every single day that it's like old hat like that. I don't know now, but so sometimes I wonder, but a lot of times people like I've heard a lot of associations with that being like ways that you're trying to be contacted, or these weird synchronicities that happen being your, like, yeah, that's your signals, like that's your bat sign, or whatever.
Absolutely.
But,
yeah, I mean, absolutely. I see 444s and 222s. Those are the ones that I see all the time. And a 444 in numerology is very much angelic force. So it's just, all it is to me, they're saying, hi, we're here, checking in,
right.
But yeah, people have things all the time, whether it's, they're finding feathers or, pennies on the road or whatever. Everybody's going to have their own way to receive the messages. And as far as channeling goes, when I first started, it was just a matter of, really tuning in. I mean, you can do this. I mean, I'm sure you do too. I mean, it's like in meditation, you're just really tuning in. You're being really, really still, but you're also conscious of what's coming. Before I channel anything, I have to be really, really certain that I clear myself. So, being very, very grounded in the earth, and then raising like a pillar of light, if you will. So, because let's face it, there are some energies out there, some beings that are not always very benevolent, and you don't want that interference. So
do you intentionally set the intention of like, okay, like I want a message, so I want to channel, or is it more like I'm going to meditate and then if something comes through, cool?
Actually, I get feelings. A feeling comes over me, or a presence comes over me. It's like, okay, I know when Archangel Andrew wants to talk. It'll be a knowing, a feeling, like, okay. So I prepare myself. They don't just necessarily start talking right then and there. It's like, okay, I got it. You have a message for me. And that's when I create that pillar, because I want whatever's coming through to be not of me, right?
Right. Yeah.
Be very, 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 very open to what is being said, but also being very protected. So that pillar of light protects any kind of less than beautiful energy to come in. So only love and light is able to penetrate that. And that's where I find that I get the best and clearest, channelings that way. And
Then do you just start writing, or do you record yourself, or?
Well, if it's a message for somebody else or for a group, like Archangel Andrew oversees Arcane Light. So if he has a message for the Arcane Light practitioners, then yes, I start writing. And then when I type it out, I always have him, I said, okay, is this what you mean to say? And let him have all edit rights, just go for it. And just if he leads me to change words or switch something around so that it's more true to what he wants to say, then he'll do that. But just like with any channel or and this, Nikki, we all have our filters. It has to come through our human consciousness in some way. And so there's going to be times when people read, channeled messages and so forth. And the way that I try and differentiate between what I feel is a very beautiful, good message to listen to, and those that, okay, well, maybe I don't give them too much of my time and so forth, is by the vibration that's offered. So if it's positive and loving and you feel a sense of goodness and peace with that message, then that is from the higher dimensions. If there's a message that has a little bit of fear in it or a little bit of any kind of those lower or negative emotions that crop up, that's out the window for me. That doesn't work.
I mean, I do think you have to, I mean, with discerning, like using your own discern, I always do the whole, like I'll listen to somebody for like 10 minutes or something. And then I'll be like, if it resonates with me, or if I like it, if I'm able to stay engaged and I'm like, okay, then like, this is something like I'm cool with. But if I find myself just wanting to Candy Crush the whole time, or like I'm just completely zoning out or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to judge myself for that. And for me, it's like, that doesn't even mean like, okay, one that everybody or that people like is that Cryon guy,
Yes,
or whatever.
yes.
I don't, and it may just be the vessel, but for me, his voice, or the guy who it sounds like a Sunday school preacher, or so. I'm just kind of like, but yet I love Bashar, and I love, so it's just like one of those. So I just like, it's not that I don't like the person or I don't like crying, or I'm just, sometimes certain things just aren't received for you at that time correctly, or you're just like, yeah, that's not, or that's just like not my, that's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean, because all messages aren't meant for everybody. And all, so some channeled messages and messengers, like the channels, you're not going to resonate with all of them. You're not meant to. So I really believe that the messages that we're supposed to hear are the ones that are going to come to us, and we're really going to resonate with them. It's like, yep, this one's for me. And you really take it in. I mean, it's like, and like you say, those that don't, Nikki, it's like, you're like, okay, I'm, this isn't working for me, and you let it go. And you know what, that's perfectly fine. That's the way it's supposed to be. But, the only thing that I'm saying as far as, a good channel versus one that you might want to look out for is
like the content wise, you mean?
Content, the vibration of the content. If it's positive or is it negative and fear-based? You know, positive and loving, fear-based, scary, you know, negative.
Okay, so on that note, how do you deal with, like, within the I don't even know if you call it spiritual community or what this is, but like there's a lot of you know, like I love like disclosure stuff and I like
Yes.
all that stuff, but sometimes it gets where it's just like, yeah, you know, like there's basically these reptilian dragons eating babies all day long, or you're just kind of going like, like this is not productive. Even if that is what's happening, or like I can't do anything about it. Like I don't know what's I just sometimes am kind of there is a big duality within all of this realm where it seems like there's like a lot of focus on just really dark stuff and and then like this like fear mongering stuff about how like I don't know, like the sun's gonna explode and we're I gonna have to go live in underground tunnels and I don't know. I sometimes I go back and forth, like not really even. It's a roller coaster within my own like research and head.
Yeah, and of course, I absolutely believe that we have, you know, extraterrestrial life on the planet already, and
Yeah, I do too. But
yeah, and I don't necessarily believe in all of the, um, you know, like you're saying, the lizards eating the babies, the reptilians. You know, it's like maybe once upon a time, um, that was part of it, but it's not in this day and age anymore. And those people that are so afraid all the time, I mean, that's, you know, you're talking about, like you say, living in a tunnel, or, you know, the world, you know, our you know, the what am I trying to say, the global warming thing, you know, it's like, oh, you know, everything's going to be gone in 10 years or whatever, you know, all of that fear mongering is not helping at all. So either you can participate and add more fear to the pie, or you can take another approach and see, okay, well, what can I do? You know, what do I want to create in my world? What do I want to see? How can I help with where I'm at right now? I mean, that's kind of the approach I take, is, you know, maybe stuff's going on and, you know, maybe it's not. But what can I do in my own backyard here that's going
better
to
it, yeah.
make it better, you know? Law of attraction, you know, you create your own reality. So if people want to worry and be in fear, then that's what they're going to create for themselves, and guess what, it'll show up. But
Yeah.
if you want to see the goodness in life and the benevolent people, and, you know, people getting along and loving and caring for each other, you're going to see that too. So we get to choose. That's the great thing. Yep.
But part of me does, like, I actually do hope there is like some kind of like mass awakening event. I actually really do hope for that. I think that would be cool. Like,
I think we need that, Nikki. I really do. I mean, a lot of the light workers that have been doing this for many years were weary. We're very weary. It's like,
yeah.
okay, keep marching, and, you know, you want to be able to have, you know, physical validation, you know, physical manifestation of what we've been working for all this time. So I agree. Personally, I would love to have a beautiful mass awakening, and, you know, having something very spectacular happen. I mean, and nobody can deny that it happened, you know.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So, yes, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that too. You know, when and where, We don't know. We'll just keep doing what we're doing, I guess, until we don't anymore. So absolutely.
I get dreams. I see things that are going to happen in dreams, with that stuff, or not. I don't know if they're going to happen in dreams. I'm saying, like, I have dreams of like events happening.
Mhm.
But I even teeter myself with my belief in whether it will or not. So sometimes I think like that's the whole timeline thing. I'm like, like what you believe is what ends up happening and stuff. So I'm kind of like, well, I want to believe, but sometimes you don't know whether, like it's hard to like, how do I word thing this? Okay. Belief is an interesting concept because it's like, can you choose to believe or not? Like that's a
Mhm.
hard thing. So you either just do or don't.
Yeah, and I think it would be great if it's always do I believe or don't I believe? And but yeah, what about the gray areas? What about the maybes, or what if? I mean, I think you can really play with that. And the thing of it is, with dreams and so forth, kind of going back to our earlier discussion about this just being a little piece of our higher self having this experience in this human body here, you and me. Well, what about all those other lifetimes that are being lived by our higher selves? I mean, we're all connected, right? So could there be some lead through there?
Oh, I 100%, sorry. I 100% think something is going on in dreams. Like, I think it's another dimension or another portal, or like outside of the matrix, or like there's some, I mean, there's just,
Multiple
there's too much of a world that goes on there
oh yeah,
for
yes,
it not to.
multiple realities, different timelines, different different places in space and time that we get to experience, and I think it bleeds through.
Yeah, I do too.
So
I
yeah,
mean, but yet I have like one of my best friends, like growing up, like claims that she like has never had a dream, like ever in her life. And I'm like, I just don't, I mean, I have dreams every single night. Some aren't like that amazing enough to want to remember. Like, it'll just be like, yeah, I got ice cream with somebody, like not, I mean, but other ones are like fantastic movies. So, I mean, I don't know, but, it is interesting how different people have different, they have different dream lives. They have different dream abilities or,
I
I
think it's a
know.
lot of it's recall. I think there's a lot of people that do not have recall on their dreams.
Yeah.
I actually have one client who was told that she does not need to dream or actually remember any of her dreams. It doesn't contribute anything to her life experience here. So
Mm.
she doesn't dream, or
Or
she
doesn't
doesn't
think she does.
recall the dream. Yeah, she
Right.
doesn't have dream recall. So, but yes, I mean, and the other thing too with our sleep time, Nikki, and I think you would agree, is that we're busy. Our
Yeah.
consciousness is busy. It's doing other things. It's taking care of business while the physical body sleeps. And part of that is, seeps through in our dreams, and like, where the heck did I go? And things seem very, very real, especially those connections like with past loved ones that have passed on. And it's
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, I had this beautiful dream and my mother came, and, you know, and it's a way that those on the other side can actually reconnect with us and have a good time again, and we recall that a lot of times as just a dream. you know um, it doesn't necessarily um, have a recollection of actually being in a higher dimension talking with a loved one or whatever in a scenario that would seem so odd or unfamiliar to us. So they do allow us to remember it in a way that seems natural and accepting to us, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do more work in my dreams than I do in waking life. My dreams are super active and they're super lucid, and I've been like that my whole life since I was a kid. So, but
Mm-hmm.
so I guess for me, it's always been kind of weird that we kind of live in a society that talks about dreams as if they're just like, oh, it's just your brain. We don't know what they are. It's just, you only really dream like 10 minutes, but they're these little tiny bursts when you're in REM, and everybody does it every night. And it's just a way for your brain to get rid of, junk thoughts. Or, I mean, like some of the theories they have on dreams is just interesting to me. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it's where our consciousness
those are
always lives. What?
absolutely. And I do think the our science is way far behind of what reality is, or at least it's the ones that they let on. Because I mean, I don't want to dig up a lot of like conspiracy theory, but I think there's a lot more understanding about the human mind, and including the dream state.
Well, even just consciousness, like what is consciousness? Like, like that's something that needs to scientifically be like examined, and it's just the elephant in the room.
Absolutely. And I think, I do think that there are the powers that be here in our world that truly understand the power of the mind and the consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they try to dumb us down, honestly. I think they really like people to think a lot of what you and I are talking about is just a bunch of
Crazy
garbage. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
well, and like that, and that's where I started kind of getting into the whole like, oh yeah, I try as hard as I can to take as much fluoride out as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I've never had a cavity, and I have like beautiful teeth. It's just like in everything, and
everything.
And it's no, like, what is the scientific reason for it again? Okay, cavities is why they're feeding you that. Okay.
And of course, we know that was all done on purpose.
Yeah.
And of course, the history of fluoride was truly, back in World War II. I mean, they gave it to, the Nazis gave it to their people to kind of dumb them down.
Neurotoxin. Exactly.
Dumb down the brain and don't let them think too much, or
Well, and I think it's like the whole like pineal gland thing, which is like your pineal gland is going to be responsible for dreaming too. Mm-hmm. And I think like that's yeah.
And it's so important to keep that decalcified. Absolutely. So good for you. Yeah.
I don't know that it's working, but
Well, but look at how you're asking the questions. You're very inquisitive. You want to explore. You want to know the deeper meanings of things. You're not parked in front of the TV watching soap operas and being, lulled into, Never Neverland. I mean, I think that's where a lot of folks want us to be. They want us to be just non-thinking.
And I used to like have this sort of thing where I didn't understand people who were, and I was just like, like what is wrong with everybody? Like, why is everybody asleep kind of thing. Now I don't necessarily have that. I don't really care if they are asleep, because maybe that's their journey and maybe that's part of their process.
Right.
Right. I just yearn for more information myself. Like this particular aspect of consciousness, meaning me, or, like the aspect of God that's within me, like
Yes.
my particular journey is a sick a searcher, I guess. Like I'm wanting to put more pieces of the puzzle together. Like maybe some people are like cool with just like watching Desperate Housewives, or I don't even know what the shows are now, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and like, and that's their little vacation journey from
Right.
thinking, you know, and like, that's cool too. They don't all, if we were all the same, like this would be a very, very boring world.
Right. And the whole thing about having a human experience is having the duality. You know, it's, if, like you said, I mean, if we were all the same in this human experience, it would be pretty ho-hum. I mean, it really would. But, you know, for those of us that are wanting well, I mean, look at our journey. We are on the journey to full consciousness. It's not really even learning anything new. It's just remembering all that we know.
Learning. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Putting it back together.
Exactly. And you're absolutely right. There are people in the world today, either on their soul evolution, it's not ready, you know, so they're still struggling, dealing with things like that. They're young souls. The other thing is, some of these souls may have had a tremendously horrible previous life, and this one they're just kind of, you know,
Chilling.
easy. Yeah. Let's have an easy one this time and just kind of breeze through it. So we really don't know. We really don't know what each journey is. So yeah, it's easy to fall into that judgment. Oh, they're not ready. They're not good enough or whatever. But no, it's not the case. We're all in this together.
True. Okay, so let's talk about this life. You're doing life coaching now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the difference between that and like counseling or like therapy, or I know there's some sort of thread that's similar that crosses over, right?
Yeah, it's very well. Actually, it's two really separate roads, if you will.
Okay.
Therapy is rehashing what happened. Let's go back and figure out what happened to you back when you were little, or let's revisit that problem over and over again, and let's figure out how you were feeling around that time and so forth. So that's therapy. Life coaching is taking where you are right now and paving the way where you want to go. So if you are wanting to create a new job, or you want to improve your health, or these are all coaching areas. So
is it kind of like manifestation helping, or like
well, it's manifestation, but it's you doing the work for it. So
right.
let me give an example. I'm doing what's called transformational coaching, and my niche is working with women who really have issues around self-worth, negative patterns, self-sabotage, feelings, like a lot of these women that have been victimized in certain ways, whether it's, abuse, physical, emotional, mental abuse, those types of women, and helping them understand they're valued, that they have opportunities to truly be all that they can be, that happy, that successful, that confident woman. So that's what I am focused on doing, is helping these women get out of this, where they are, and really help them pave to where they want to be. And doing a lot of that work, because it is work. It's not just, law of attraction, I'll think about it. Part of that is true. I mean, you have to have a change in what you believe about yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
right?
And do you do that with like affirmations or like any kind of therapy, like what do you call it? Hypnotism stuff, you know? Like walk me through, like if a person was wanting to become a potential client, like what would sessions look like with you and how often, and like I could, you know, because I don't know anything about life coaching. I've just heard the term like
Mm,
thrown around a couple of times, so I'm sure a lot of people would want to know exactly what is involved.
exactly. So it is a commitment of, a certain amount of time, and that's really up to the individual. But we would meet every week on the phone. Yeah, that's the nice thing. We can, or in this, under this platform, like on Zoom. And what we would do is we would really discuss where you are emotionally first. How are you feeling? Because a lot of what's going on in your life is based on what emotion, what frequency you're at. So we want to help you start feeling better. So that's number one. But the other thing is the client always comes to the table with the agenda. I'm here for them. So they may come to me and say, you know what, I just don't feel very confident, going for that new job or whatever it might be. And so through a series of questions first, where I help them really, really dig deep into why, what's going on, you know, um, those answers are deep inside each and every one of us, and each and every one of them. So I help them get down to the very specific answer for them.
And
And
then
then,
is it like an accountability thing? Like you'll, like when you follow up with them again, like there's
mhm,
sort of like, by the next time I talk to you, it would be really great if you could have acted on XYZ kind of thing, or
exactly. So after really honing in on what it is that needs to change, I will help them with some processes to help them do that, and to help them, something they can do at home in the meantime, and really start putting things into action. And then we always leave with, okay, now what do you want to commit to doing this week? So we always end the call with, homework, so to speak.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it really truly is something that, a woman or a guy, anybody who wants to commit to coaching, there's work involved. It's not just a, cry on the shoulder session and then you leave and go back to everything's the same. So you
Right.
really want to move into becoming that individual that you are setting out to do. And it's my job is your cheerleader. I'll give you the tools, I will support you, but I can't do the work for
Right.
you. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a self-help guide in a lot of ways, or like a way to help you heal yourself.
Absolutely. It's like, having that girlfriend walking with you on the road. It's your path, but I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to show things to you. I'm going to mirror things for you. I'm going to give you some ideas, but all the action has to be your own. Mm-hmm.
And then so you're still doing the arcing light sessions a lot, and then are you physically doing them in person, or are you doing more distance healings, or what is that looking like?
Okay, I'm doing both. I do both. So I do see clients in Sedona and in Rimrock, Arizona, in person. But then, of course, I do the long distance sessions that people enjoy as well, all over the country, or world even. I've had some clients, international clients. And for people that don't really understand, a distance healing is very much like offering prayer, if you will. I mean, there's no space and time where prayer is concerned. and the same thing with distance healing. That is not a barrier to this working. And besides, with the archangels, the 3 archangels that are dedicated to arcing light, they know exactly where that person is. They don't need me to draw them a map, So it's all about loving intention and connecting. So I do both, and happily so. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that I do is Akashic Therapy. It's something that I like to do in complement with either arcing light or the coaching. For those that do feel that there are messages along their timelines, whether in past lives or future lives and so forth, to help bring those messages out of those timelines to help them deal with what they're doing today.
Okay, so it's Akashic, what did you say? Akashic
Therapy. So if people, you've heard of the
Akashic records, yeah, for sure.
Yep. So the Akashic Therapy is really it's almost like a regression.
So is that kind of like how does that like technically work? Do you like take a client through like a hypnotic state where you make them go to the Akashic records and see what you can get out of them, or is it more like you go in the Akashic records for them?
Actually, I lead them, and it's much less hypnotic. It's more meditative. So it's not scary like you're just somebody else is controlling you. No, actually, I'm taking you down through a meditative state, and that's when the information can come through, because it's like a guided meditation, Nikki.
Okay.
Where you're kind of going the way the meditation guide is taking you. So I do the same thing in the records. So whether it's a past life, or a future life, or something that happened in the present life that's not dealt with. So that's just one tool to help people put the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know you did that. Like I like the Akashic record stuff. I've done a couple meditations online and stuff. I really like them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I prefer to do those in person, but I can do those like over a session, like Zoom or even on the phone. I feel more comfortable when we're in the same space. I can kind of, well, bless you. I can kind of monitor things a little bit better that way. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. And so like, I guess, so the Sedona area, it feels to me like, that's a little hot spot of a lot of open souls, or I don't know, like, are you finding this kind of work is just working out like so much better being there, or how's that working out?
Yeah, I mean, the whole mentality of people are different than let's say the Bible Belt. They're very open to spirituality versus necessarily religion. They are on personal journeys to grow and be better and understand, and just like we are. And so definitely there's plenty of people here that are interested in this. But then again, I won't use the word competition, because I mean, there's a lot of people who are offering similar services, right?
Okay, I see. So it's more it's more saturated though, like in terms of there's more people who have different healing modalities going on there than other places.
Truly. But I also believe that the right people who are meant to see me will find me. So it's not like, oh, I have to do all I can to have all the customers and our clients and I have to worry about the gals next door or whatever. No, I truly believe in collaboration, because we can do a lot of beautiful things
Yeah, for sure.
join together. But I also believe that spirit brings us who we're supposed to help. And so.
Well, I also think that like Sedona has so many workshops and conferences that people from all over the country go to specifically for healing. Like I see
Yes.
all kinds of, they have all these kind of conscious like meeting things that you're always going to have opportunity for new people coming specifically as a place to get healed.
Absolutely. It's like the hot, like you said, it's the hot spot for spiritual growth, and transformation. So there's always things going on. And Sedona, I mean, my goodness, I think the last calculation was like 4 million visitors a year. 4 million.
The census,
people,
yeah.
Coming through. Mm-hmm.
And do you feel the vortexes? Like, do you feel like the difference in the land there? Is there, what do you think is that about and like causes that?
Definitely I feel that. And I felt it more pronounced, of course, when I didn't live here. Right. Now that I'm, because once you live here, it's just becomes part of your everyday. So it's not like you feel anything strikingly different.
Right.
When you come to visit, definitely, there are two different types of vortex energies. There's energies, certain vortexes that bring your energies down. They're more earthly. They ground you. They're very supportive that way. And then there are different vortexes that bring your energy up. It's almost like in that meditative, like almost spacey feeling, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're just like, woo, I'm flying high. So
I definitely felt some of that when I was in Sedona, some of the like spacey stuff. And I was like, oh.
Yes. And so these are, how they're created. I would not be a good one to say, other than the fact that I do think that they are here on purpose. That it's not just by chance. A lot of, a lot of sacred places on the planet, having to do with the ley lines and sort of those types of things. I think that contributes a lot to the energy here. I do, personally feel that there is a very benevolent ET activity here as well, especially around the Bell Rock area.
Yeah.
But I do think it's all for a greater good. It's not, this is not a place for people who are, like, I'm going to use the word loosely, but negative, Sedona, will kick out those people that don't belong.
Right. It's a high vibe tribe.
It really, truly is. It truly is. And and I'm just delighted to be here, honestly. It took me a while to get transplanted, and but when you find home and you know it,
right.
So all's good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm definitely ultimately a desert person, so I don't know. I'm definitely gonna check it out some more.
Yeah. Perfect.
That's cool. All right. Well, so is there a place people can check you out on? Like, where can people find you, and how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. I have a website, and it's www.onangels wingshealing.com.
Okay, cool. And I'll write that up here on the screen.
Mm-hmm. And then by phone, my phone number 928-273-8447. So
Okay.
website, phone number, and just would love to visit with anybody interested in meeting, talking, working. That would be my pleasure and an honor.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Peggy. It was so cool talking to you. And yeah, we'll talk again soon.
That would be great. Great. Thank you so much.